Hello, I wanted to make a video for this week, just overview of last week and what's coming up this week as well. So let me look at my notes. Last week you did either the recipe lab or the grocery lab. And I got a couple of comments and emails from people, questions about those two things, but I want to explain, I haven't done this up to this point in time. I want to explain what this class is about. This class is called Math 143, Quantitative Literacy. Now, if you know the root of those two words, quantitative is a derivative of the word quantity. And quantity means amount or number. So in other words, quantitative means we're dealing with numbers. We're dealing with amounts. We're dealing with digits and math. Literacy obviously means read. Can you read? If you are a literate person, that means you can read. And so if you put the two words together, quantitative means math, literacy means read. What we do in this class is we read math. We do things in this class that require you to read and then apply the math to that particular reading. So I try to find labs that are something you would deal with in the everyday world. We all cook or eat. We all grocery shop or eat the groceries. And so those are two labs that I really like because it's something that we all are going to cross paths with in this journey. And you have to read. You have to read the recipe. You have to read the grocery flyer. You have to use your literacy skills along with your math skills to be successful at those two things, cooking or shopping. So this class, again, it's called Quantitative Literacy. And before I taught this class, students would ask me, hey, what's that? And I was like, I don't know. I didn't know. I had never taught it, and I just didn't know what that meant, to be perfectly honest. But it means you're reading math. And so everything we do, every section we do, every chapter we do requires both of those things. Now, there are some classes, like I teach Math 171, for example. We do not do a single word problem, well, one section. But for the most part, the entire class, you don't read anything. You just do numbers, 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 numbers. You don't read it all. But this class is different. This class has a lot of reading. Okay, moving on. The calculator. I have said this, but within the next, I would say 2 weeks from now, we're going to have a test. It's going to be a proctored test. I'll get into this later. You have three options. You can take it online through a proctoring company called ProctorU. You can take it with me on main campus or in Scotland County at the hours that I make myself available. Or you can take it on main campus or Scotland County at the Academic Success Center. There will be a person there that will administer your test. But you have to have a calculator. You're not going to be able to use a cell phone on the test. And I'm concerned that some of you, here's the calculator, may be waiting to the last minute. Here's the one that I like. It's a TI-30X2S. And mine is navy blue, but it also comes in like a bright royal blue, comes in a hot pink. And it also comes in a gray. The gray one has a green button right here. And that is not my absolute favorite calculator, but it will work. Make sure that you know how to convert from a fraction to a decimal. So you see this little button right. Oh, I'm backwards. It says F to D. Hold on, let me flip it over. Okay, there it is right there. F to D. You probably can't see that. But that's how you go from a fraction to a decimal. And that is one of the most important things that you'll use your calculator for. You've already run into that with reducing fractions and stuff, so that's handy. This week we're going to move on to section 4.3, which is percentages. I love this section because percentages are such a humongous part of everyday life. You cannot watch the news, you cannot read an article, you cannot do much of anything without bumping into a percentage. What does that mean? What is a percentage? Like, where did that come from? And so that's what we're going to study this week. You have two labs to do this week. They're fairly short. One is a flooring lab, and I specifically created that lab to line up with a question on the final exam. So that's important. My husband owns a flooring store, just a random fact here, and he helped me with that lab to get sort of my pricing accurate and my square footage accurate. But that is a real thing. If you own a home in your lifetime and you live there long enough, you're going to need new flooring. God forbid you have a flood, or, something happened to your home that would cause you to replace the flooring. But replacing flooring in a home is just part of being a homeowner. And so I wish that for all of you, and that's a good lab. The other lab is about rounding decimals, and that's just something that we need to cover at the beginning of this class to make sure that when Hawk says round to the nearest hundredth, you know what they mean. If Hawk says round to the nearest whole person, what does that mean? Rounding is very important, and Hawk's learning will not give you credit if you round inaccurately. So I like to get that out of the way at the beginning of the class. These labs are going to count as one lab grade. You have to do both of them. Okay, you don't have an option like you did last week. Both labs are required, the flooring lab and the rounding decimals lab. But I'm going to grade it as one lab grade. Okay, so if you have any questions, reach out to me. Some of you still have not joined me on the Remind app. Well, I would show it to you, but I've got some other messages. So please, it's on the top of the Moodle page. It's just a really quick way for you to get in touch with me and me to get in touch with you. You can email me, you can Moodle message me, but I really like the Remind app, and I would love for you to all join us. So if you have any questions, contact me. Otherwise, I will see you next week.